Hello. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see everyone tonight. Oh my gosh, +3 outside today. I hope you all got a chance to get some glow bracelets and some cool futuristic snacks. We have Eve serving the snacks. She's from the future. She brought us some meal replacement drinks, because in the future we're not eating much. We're just drinking a lot of our calories. We have some aloe juice. It doesn't go on our skin anymore. We now take it internally. And we have some vitamin C gum poppers. That's how we're getting a lot of our nutrients in the future, is just vitamin juices in gummies and so forth. You'll also notice it's a meatless future. I think, if I had access to a printer that printed steaks, I want to be in line to try those things. I would eat lab meat in a second, is what I'm saying. I'm cool with lab meat. Okay, how has this gone to lab meat? But so I'm your host, Jasmine Tara, and you're going to see me look at my phone once in a while, and it's just to look at my notes, because Colleen has done so much in her career so far that I just had to write down so much stuff. I've been doing the First Fridays hosting since September. Enjoyed it very much. Love having chats with artists. And Colleen is actually the person who sent this job posting to me. She's like, "You'd be really good at this." I'm like, "Thanks, girl." And look at here we are. So it's good old Winnipeg coming full circle. Gotta love it. Alrighty, so I was born and raised here. Treaty 1 territory. Woo-hoo. I'm a member of Miigwaaneñs First Nation, which Colleen is as well. So that's pretty cool. We're both urban natives, as we like to call ourselves. So tonight we're doing Into the Indigiverse. Indigiverse. I was just asking for the proper pronunciation, and I think I got it. Did I get it? Okay. Next slide, please. Look how cute she is. So, Miigwaaneñs is immersed in Indigifuturism, a visual art movement envisioning a future that transcends today's world, teleporting to an exciting sci-fi future built on the resilience, knowledge, and strength of her ancestors' teachings. Simard's short films, digital works, and paintings mix urban life with traditional woodlands iconography, a cyber Indian vibe, and a sense of humor. She is Anishinaabe, Nehiya, sorry honey, Swedish, and French heritage from Miigwaaneñs First Nation. She is currently studying fine arts at the U of M. Let's give a hand to Miigwaaneñs. Next slide, please. Alrighty. So, I just want to say I've known Colleen for about, I think since 2009. Yeah, where are we? 2024, so 15 years, oh my God. So, and she's been doing it all. I have followed her since she wrote for the Winnipeg Free Press back in the 2000s. When did you start doing the Winnipeg Free Press writing? 2004.
Fresh out of journalism school, pre-com, regular college.
Yes. And I was reading her editorials, her opinion pieces, and her articles in the Winnipeg Free Press, and she just wrote differently than anyone else before. I could picture exactly what she was doing, and a lot of her stories were about her neighborhood or things she was doing, but she also managed to have some really serious writing in those stories that made you feel like you were just sitting on a couch listening to her talk to you and share. So, like I said, she started out at the Free Press, where she that's where you were first kind of public, right? Where your name started getting out there?
Definitely.
Right. And then you moved on to having your very own newspaper. And how long did you have that for?
I kind of foolishly started it when a huge world recession was beginning. And so it only lasted about almost 2 years, a year and a half.
Right.
I hope you guys can hear me. No?
Is her mic okay?
The mic is for Instagram, and then can you hear me now?
We have 2 mics.
Okay. I'll talk.
It's the
You know what?
future.
I'll hold it.
Yeah, the holding it. It's in the future. You have to wear 2 microphones. So that's why we're doing this, just in case you're wondering. Okay.
No feedback. Yeah, almost 2 years I did it.
Yeah,
And it was
almost 2 years.
a blur. A blur.
Yes, and even when I was Googling last night, there were so many people who appreciated this newspaper, and I was one of them. I got to pick it up at Red River College and see all the very, very interesting, different stories that you were putting out there. Can you share with us maybe just going back a bit to that, share with us maybe one of your favorite free press stories that you wrote or experience that you had with the free press?
Well, okay, so going to journalism school at Red River College, we had, I think you had Duncan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan Miigwaaneñs, he was an editor at the Free Press for many years. And I love him to death, but he was a hard ass. He was a hard ass. But he taught me so much. And he really taught me that journalism is just like a little picture, a little second in life. And if you make people care about your story, not statistics, but if you put a human face to it, people care more. And so that's why I wrote the way I did. Right. My favorite story was probably writing about my teacher, Mr. Paul, up in Hollow Water First Nation. He's my grade 6 teacher, and he was like Duncan Miigwaaneñs. He was a hard ass. He was Dene, and he would see me in the back of math class, kind of hiding, because I didn't know how to do math. But he hard. Yeah, he would be like, oh, okay, come to the front. You work on this. And he was hard on me, but the end of that term, he said, I need to see you after class. And I was like, he gives me 2 books from 2 people, autobiographies. One was Chief Dan George. And he said, I see potential in you. Do you know what that word means? And I said, no. So he made me look it up. But I wrote about him because he really was one of those people. We all get to meet people in our lives that make us better and really push us. And so he was one of them. That was like my ultimate first.
Did you end the story with Masi Cho?
No.
Missed opportunity. Masi Cho is thank you very much in Denny, but Masi is thank you. So when I went up north and I was with the Denny people, they taught me both. And so everywhere I went, I'm like, Masi Cho. And then they're like, Jasmine, calm down, okay? Masi Cho is like, thank you so much. Like it's super thank you. Just say Masi. Like I'm saying Masi Cho to the northern worker, to the library lady. They're like, holy, like yes, I was overdoing it. So now you know, just say Masi unless you're super, super thankful, okay? But anyways, Masi Cho, Mr. Paul, I love that story. Okay, and then over to urban Indian. Like you said, you did this during the recession. You're talking about like the 2008 recession. Okay, so then what inspired you to do this? Like what made you feel like you need to do this? Because it sounds like you were doing this kind of right after the Free Press and during the end times there.
Okay, so prior to the Free Press, I was a graphic designer at an Indigenous newspaper, making minimum wage and happy, so happy. It was the greatest job. And my editor at the time, Todd Lamoran, he saw me reading books all the time on my breaks. And he said, you like to read books? I said, yeah, I do. And he said, I have some books here, like, maybe you want to read some of them, and, if you want to, like, write about it, you could write a book review. And I was like, okay. Do I get paid more? He said, no. He said, but if they come to town, you can take them for lunch. And I was like, okay, this sounds good. So that's how I started kind of writing prior to creative communication. So I had been working at an Indigenous paper. I saw the wonderful things that they were doing. I saw all the different facets, and something in my head, the little entrepreneur in me who had a pizza business up north when I was 20, let's say 20. But said like, I think I could do this. I think I could have an Indigenous paper. So I did do it. It didn't last long. I don't regret it for a second. It was hard, but sometimes you fail at things, but it's still worthwhile. So that, you know, I'm so grateful to do that. Like you said, I met so many people, so many artists, so many beautiful people, and I just got to support my community and show all the different facets that we are. So it was a blessing.
Yes, and actually that's something for people, I don't know here if there's people who've been kind of following Colleen's career. I have followed her career. She is so interesting. She will pick things up that she loves and she'll give it so much care. And if it goes away, that's okay. She picks up the next thing. And then she can sometimes go back to the things that she had before. But it's just been very noticeable. I've been following her for, we've been friends now for 15 years. And I've definitely liked her for 5 years before that and watched her work, and she's inspired me because she is very authentic in how she moves, how she goes to school, how she does her different projects. And another really cool project that she did is Little Feather. And, you know, I feel like Colleen did lots of stuff early too. Like she, you know, I know we've always made art out of pop culture, but like she was doing this, you know, in the late 2000s. I personally loved Breaking Bannock. Does anyone remember the Breaking Bannock shirts? She was the first one. It was a play on Breaking Bad. And she used the same logo. And it would be for sale at Miigwaaneñs Comics. So she used her graphic design and her Nietzsche sense of humor.
Learned how to silk screen at Martha Street Studio.
Yeah. She made me fake Chanel shirts. Thank you. So me and my baby could be matching Chanel girlies. But yeah, what was like your favorite thing about Little Feather, which is it's a design company and a clothing company, or have you?
It's kind of morphed into design, but because I'm going to school, I don't really do it a lot. But it was basically clothing and t-shirts, creating work that is accessible. And I thought, what better way to make art accessible than to put it on a t-shirt? And so that's what I did. It was a lot of fun. I think my favorite thing was when people would say, I'd go to Miigwaaneñs Commons once a month and pick up my check, you know, and they'd say, oh, we sold this, we sold this. And sometimes they'd be telling me, like, this person came in and they bought your shirt, and gosh, we tried to figure out who it was. and one time I was walking downtown, towards downtown, and across the Salter Bridge, and I was kind of by, I don't know, Notre Dame and Isabel, and I see this girl, it's summer, and I see her on a bike, and she's coming towards me, and she's wearing this neon yellow tank top, and it has a Thunderbird on it. I think that was my favorite design, was the Thunderbird, and she's got it on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. That girl connected with that t-shirt, and she took her hard-earned money, and she bought my t-shirt, and I don't even know her, and it was just the best. You can't, like, it's such a great feeling.
You were totally a force to be reckoned with a silk machine in your house. Like this, anything you wanted. She's like, I'll put it on a shirt for you. Or how about a tote bag? If you put anything cool on the internet, she's like, let me turn that into a shirt. You know? I'm like, girl, put your silk screening machine away for a couple days, take a break. But
well, I'm thinking
there was
like
no breaks.
Actually doing some silk screening this summer.
It's coming back?
Yeah, I'm taking silk screening at U of M right now. And I'm kind of like playing with my skills, you know, picking up designs.
Yes, awesome. Okay, cool. So that's, you know, Colleen has done so many different things. And we worked on a project together before for many years. And actually it's 11 years old now, which I can't even believe it. So Colleen had this idea like 12 years ago to have a fashion show from an Indigenous perspective. And we came up with this, you know, a couple of concepts for show ideas, you know, how to take care of your moccasins, when to wear them, when to not, you know, not wearing them in the spring. We also did street interviews. This is like 2010, 2011. And we're doing, I said 11 years, maybe it's 12 years, 2012-ish. We're doing street interviews in the North End, which I think we deleted that video. We went from just, you know, having a show together where we discussed all these things called style signals, which I'm going to show you our first little episode. So it's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I think. We'll play the whole thing, Claire, but in a second. And after this, we did get noticed by Shaw TV. And Shaw was like, ladies. They wooed us, didn't they, Colleen? Yeah. So they're like, we want to produce your show. We're like, fun, cool. So we did some production with Shaw, which was fun. Had to go on Twitter and like delete mean tweets that I had about Shaw.
We were both young parents at the time as
yeah.
well, with daughters.
Yes, yeah. So my daughter was like, yeah, how far apart are my baby's 15 now? Yeah. So we had little kids, so they helped us with our show as well, doing like white balance for the cameras and things like that. So Colleen was the editor at first. Honestly, this is so like camp. You guys are gonna love it. And then it got produced.
A lot of my stuff is camp. A lot of my stuff is camp.
Yeah, you're original. You're so cool. So she did the editing. You know, she was the original founder. She brought me in, and then from there we just brainstormed up a lot of things. I'll play you the first episode. Remember, this is from 2012 or 2011. Okay. Chanel TV. I don't know if this would fly today, but
That's my TV.
I'm Colleen. And I'm Jackson. And we're here today to talk about
all of our clothes cost like $2 also, just so you know.
We're
That's
thrifters, lifelong thrifters.
BTO. We call it BTO. Baggy's not bad, but when you have baggy all together, it is not good. Because if you're big, you have to kind of not cover everything. You're gonna have a baggy shirt and maybe a nice pair of semi-baggy. Wearing a tight skirt and a tight shirt, it feels uncomfortable. And we can put a picture
This is feeling body shaming, and I'm really sorry.
It's so much nicer if, say, if your problem area is your back and your thighs, or even if it isn't, whatever.
Problem area, barf. Barf.
Skirt that slides out.
I picked this cancel now. This is on Instagram.
I didn't know that's how we
I didn't mean to play the whole thing. I was inspired.
Accentuate the butt leg. So you kind of accentuating with the tight and hiding with the baggy. Because we all have different bodies, and there's no sense in dressing yours to what you think you should look like. Dress it to what makes you comfortable, what makes you look good. There's a difference between old and vintage. Exactly.
That had to be said.
Material will age well. This is probably going to get hillier in a year. But you know what? I'm going to put a like it if you want to wear anyways. If you have a few pieces in your closet that are hilly, stretched out looking, overly fitted to the
Hugs are back at least, right?
don't make you feel good. You look at them and you're like, I have those clothes too. I do. But I don't buy that often. You switch them to the pajama drawer, and then you're fine.
We had so much fun with
One
that.
simple sugar habit anyone can do to balance
Every couple
glucose
of years.
levels.
Oh, a toilet scene. Nice, nice.
I didn't know that still existed.
It was hard to find, to be honest. The other thing too is the Shaw, like what the cool thing that came out to the public from the Shaw thing was their intro they made for us. I did not find that, but I think because Rogers bought Shaw, I was thinking maybe everything disappeared and we really should have saved that stuff. A lot of our stuff that we filmed didn't go anywhere though. We're okay with that. Like it was a fun experience, right?
Actually, remember, like we had a few people who we'd be thrifting, and they'd be like, "Hey, are you Jasmine?"
I got noticed once, yeah, at the thrift store. I was like, it was crazy, and because you know what, our show was playing on the channels on First Nations and different communities up north on channel, like what would be their channel 9. So like that's where it would get tossed. So one time I was at the thrift store on Goulet and Taché there, and I will admit I had some wine prior, okay, at Boone's. Boone's was delicious, and I had they poured the wine right to the top, okay? But I go in there, I'm thrifting, and yeah, this lady comes up to me, she goes, "Is your name Jasmine?" I was like, "Yes." Anyway, she recognized me from the show. I couldn't believe it. My head was gigantic after. My best friend was across the thing. I'm like, "Ah!" Like, I'm being recognized. So yeah, it probably was good that Style Signals didn't blow up. It would have went straight to my head for sure.
We could always go back and
Yeah.
shoot it again.
We revive it every like 2 years. We're like, let's go shoot a scene at Garbage Hill with our latest thrifted goods. You have those videos, I hope. So we show up in like our fur coats and like sunglasses, and we run. It's fun. So search for us online. But yeah, I had to bring up Style Signals. I couldn't do this without bringing up Style Signals. But let's get back to the Indigiverse. Okay, let's get back to the Indigiverse. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so here, this is a clip from Colleen's latest short film. I think it should be able to play for us. It's just a clip.
I think I made it.
Can you tell us about
Not
this
last
picture?
year, but the year before. So Wendigo Khan is kind of a backwards person in the Anishinaabe culture. I wanted to make this, and I love snowshoeing. I don't do it much, mostly up north, but I wanted to create a video of me on the Red River. The Red River holds a lot of good and bad energy, and I made the mask is a Wendigo mask I made in school, and I thought I'm gonna make a video, and kind of want to the theme is about murdered and missing women, and how the Wendigo is such a backwards person that when they're happy in front of you and laughing, they're really sad, and when they're sad, so to dance, and it ended up being really cold that morning. I talked one of my friends and my ex-husband to come and help me. My friend had a, what do they call it, a drone camera, and we were out there for like an hour and a half, and I was so exhausted, but the end product I was really happy with to show. I don't know, I just feel like it really gave a bit of respect to the land, to the river, to the women. I just feel like not enough attention can be paid to that. So, and to do it in a different way, in a almost celebratory way, to honor that beauty that is, feminine. And so that's why I did it. And there is a bit of a drum song there, a bear song, kind of a little bit of honor to those energies and spirits. And I was really happy with it. Yeah.
Do you think we kind of all have the ability to have Wendigo in us, or is it just certain people, or what is your thoughts on that?
I think there's like Wendigo in many cultures around the world. Backwards people. Maybe that is who you are when you're a bit of an outsider. Me growing up, I never felt like I belonged, honestly, because I'm fair. I'm a fair-skinned First Nation person, so I am sometimes too white for people, and sometimes I'm too Anishinaabe for people. So where do you fit in? I don't fit in anywhere. But you know what? I like it. I really like it. So I mean, you got to be that kind of person, and your question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is my understanding of Wendigo too is like contrary,
Yes.
right? Yes, okay, I just want to make sure we're on that.
The Wendigo are very important in the Anishinaabe culture. They show up at the Sundance on the last day, the fourth day, and they come and they tempt the Sundancers. They come with water, and they offer you water, and they ask you if you'll drink, and you haven't had water in 4 days. And are you going to succumb? Are you going to take the Wendigo's water? Or are you not going to? They're very important, very sacred people.
Thank you for that. Can we do the next slide there, Claire? Oh, yes. And just so everyone here knows, we have the printed piece that's behind me up on the wall, and we can go look at that after. And what's it printed on again?
It's printed on Tyvek, which is the same stuff that you would use to insulate your house. It's kind of indestructible, and if you look at it, it's kind of a matte finish, and it's pretty strong. You can kind of it'll last you a while, as opposed to if I would have printed it on photo paper. I thought this was the way to go. I wanted to keep it and put it in my basement.
What is it?
It's gonna be in my femden.
Was it more expensive? Now it's my curious brain.
It is more expensive,
Like
but
to print on it?
I'd say it would probably, well, it depends. You have to get a specialized printer. Like I did print it at the University of Manitoba. It is at cost because you are a student. It's relatively cheap. If you're looking for something that's durable, I would recommend it. Like the print quality is great. If you can find a printer that does it, maybe Dawn's photo.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, more into what you lovingly call Indigifuturism. Can you explain what Indigifuturism means to you and how it shapes your approach to art?
So Indigifuturism, I just shortened Indigenous futurism. It's been around for about 20 years. It's been here. Prior to that is Afrofuturism, which has been around for a decade or two more. They're both very important to me as far as being a colonized person. And the idea that I have, the understanding that I have, how I explain it to people is, imagine a world in the future and maybe you haven't experienced colonization. What would that world look like? What would it be? What would I be doing in the future if I had not had been colonized? So it's a really interesting concept. And like I said, there are a lot of people, a lot of artists who have definitely experimented with this. Do a Google search out Afrofuturism, Indigenous futurism. I can think of Shelley Nero in Ontario. She's a photographer who's worked with Indigifuturism. I was at the WAG yesterday. Kamayak. Inuit people, if you look at their artwork, you can see the effect of futurism in their work as well, and they're looking forward. Sometimes being an Indigenous person, I think you'll agree, is sometimes difficult. It's hard dealing with intergenerational effects and stuff. I'm not trying to be a downer here, but what I'm saying is sometimes I need a break. Sometimes I need a break from being Indigenous and to be Indigenous in the future. This gives me hope. This gives me a sense of you just need a pep talk sometimes. You just need to what is that word? It starts with M. You need to manifest things sometimes. You really do. And sometimes I just feel like I need to do that. I was lucky enough, actually many years ago, to work with an Indigenous co-op at Children of the Earth High School. And I learned so much from those high school students that made art. Here we are living in the deep hood, and it's hard. It's so hard. And these kids would come and hang out with us and eat snack foods and make art. And the art was incredible. incredible, you know. So that's what I do. I love Indigenous futurism because it gives me just another way to investigate and to celebrate. You know, what's wrong with me also celebrating the future that's going to happen?
Yeah, and if we believe that, the past, the present, and the future might be happening all at the same time.
The multiverse theory.
Ooh. That's kind of what I
love
believe.
the multiverse
Me
theory.
too. Me too. So then we can be besties. This is one of my sayings that I want to put on a T-shirt. Tell me if you buy it or not. Okay? And then maybe I'll make it. But besties with my future self. Okay? This helps me heal. When I was having a painful time, I'll just think of a really painful one like a decade ago. Someone told me this. Someone gave me this advice. God, I wish I knew who it was. But, that's when I started learning about the multiverse. And if the future me exists already, let me imagine what she's doing 10 years from now, okay? She is happy. This thing that hurts doesn't hurt anymore. She is healed. She is successful, okay? And she's doing great. She's looking great. Everything's great. I take her and I let her come to the present version of me and just like pet me, hold me, and tell me that this is you in the future and everything will be okay. Just live through this, and maybe for some people that might not work. It might make you lay in depression for too long. Maybe I did. Maybe 10 years down the road was way too far to be looking. I probably should have done 5. But 10 years later, that version of me that soothed the old one, I felt her one day. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is the version of me that healed the sad version of me. Anyways, I just want to share that because there's lots to be said about futurism and thinking about time. Yes. Alrighty, let's go to the next question.
That's a North End, by the way.
Oh, do you want to show us where?
So
yes,
behind me is the Salter Bridge, the Slaw-Rem-Chuck Bridge. If you're facing going downtown, the bridge is behind me. The Buddhist temple is there to the other side. On this side is usually an auto body place, but I took it out. And I just love the North End. I went to Sisler High School. I grew up in the North End half my life.
Still lives there.
Yeah, I still live there.
Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody.
No.
Just kidding. She lives in St. James.
I have 2 houses, one deep hood and one kind of bougie North End.
Or bougie. I'm now just seeing like the fawn, the deer in the corner in the clouds. That's cool. That's what I love that about lots of different native art that we get to see is like the hidden stuff. So it's cool that you brought it into like a digital aspect. Alrighty, what do we got next for you? So you work across short films, digital works, and paintings. How do you navigate these different mediums, and do they serve different purposes in your storytelling?
Well, I remember, I'm a little bit older than most art school students. So I showed up there and I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. But I did get some advice. Some people had told me that, you know what you should do is try everything. Try everything. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing here in art school. I'll try everything. So that's what I did. It was just something I wanted to do. I didn't know what I was really great at. I knew I liked making films, but I also tried ceramics. I also tried painting. I've never painted really in my life, but I love it now. I love painting. It's just challenging yourself. As you get older, you should really challenge yourself. If it's a little scary, that's okay, but just try, right? Just try. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, you're gonna fail? how do we learn? We fail. So I just approach it as, well, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try it, see what happens. I might hate it, I might love it, but I'll always learn something from it. And as a contemporary artist, interdisciplinary artist, I feel like I pull different skills from each thing I learn, so, and even life, as a mom, as someone who cooks, as someone who cleans up, as someone who does all kinds of things. Like you get all these skills. Life is about experience and skills. So
I think it's really interesting for people to just see, again, someone living their life a bit differently, and your kids, like, differently in the way, like, you had your older son, Storm, and then how many years later did you have Sequan?
15 years.
Her kids are 15 years apart, so it's like, she's, and she has a little girl, like, her daughter's, how old is she, 12? She just turned 15. Ooh, she's a teen. Her name is Sequan, she's so cute. She's getting a call. Let's go to the next slide, because I do want to show some recent stuff of yours. This one's more recent, this one's not so recent. Do you want to tell us about these?
Yeah, so this one I learned cyanotype. Has anybody tried cyanotype before? So cyanotype is kind of an ancient way of making photographs. So the way I made these was I took a paper, I put the cyanotype on it, and then you take it out in the sun and you expose it to light.
Wait, what's cyanotype?
Cyanotype is this blue color. It's a chemical, but it's a very old art form. So I learned how to do this, and I made these shapes in the backyard in the north end, and I put things on it, and you time it out, and then you wash it out, and it just gives you this really beautiful, ethereal look. And I figured it looked like stars, and it looked like shapes, and I cut them to make shapes of kind of animal shapes. And the top three triptych I did with my eagle staff, and I put it on there, and I just liked the look of it. So experimenting with that was so much fun. And always, as an artist, always think, like, if you're making mistakes, sometimes those mistakes are really awesome. They look really great. That's how you learn.
Yeah, I thought that was like stone. I didn't know that was paper. That's really cool.
The two bottom ones are about 3 feet high. Yeah, they're large. I had to wash them in my bathtub.
Oh wow.
The bathtub works.
My brain is still having a hard time understanding. It's like a film, like a paper.
It's like a layer of liquid that you put onto your paper.
Okay.
Or you could do fabric as well. And then you let it dry in the dark room. And then it's almost like you're making negative paper.
Right. Oh, like dark room.
Yes.
Kind of stuff.
And then you bring it out into the sunlight, and you're going to expose it, and then you have to put things on it, or draw on it, or do something to create those white spaces.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. And then moving on over here, you said, you hadn't painted much before Fine Arts. Like, this is so beautiful. Can you talk about it? Tell us about it?
Thank you. So this is a bit of Indigenous futurism as well. I had a friend from my co-op, a young man, an artist, painter, and he passed away in January. And I thought, this is something that you go, he was going to go to art school. He was thinking of going to art school. And how do you pay tribute to someone like that? That's so awesome. And I thought, I'm going to put him in the future. Because in the future, he can be this person. He can still be an artist. He can be this, I almost feel like these canoes in the corner are some kind of insignia of some kind of space army or something. So that's what I did. I painted a picture of him, and I would always think about him too, because he was such a great kid. Like, he never held back. I was like, would you like it? Would he say, oh no, you gotta stop, you gotta do this? Like, he was an abstract artist as well. Oh, you gotta stop. No, that's too much. So it was really nice as far as almost like healing too. Like art is therapy as well, right? So I put him in the future. There's a bit of a nebula behind him. I tried to pay a little homage to Norval Morrisseau and Woodland style with the line drawings as well. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I don't really do portraits, but I feel like I did right by him and celebrated his beauty and his art. And yeah, I think he really would have liked it, for sure.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really, really beautiful. That's gorgeous. So, what would you say are some of the challenges that you faced in your artistic career, especially as it intersects with themes of identity and futurism? And then conversely, what opportunities have arisen from those challenges?
I think like kind of I have like I don't see challenges as challenges. I see them like, as you say, as opportunities. I was raised by my great grandfather and my grandmother until I was 4. I lived up north in a little town. I came to the city with my mom, and all of a sudden it was culture shock. I'm like, wow, where am I? What is this? Who am I? You know, but I always knew who I was, and that was the most important thing. When people tell you you can't do stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can. You can say that all you want, but in my head I'm thinking, yeah, I can.
You literally started a newspaper. Like, normal people don't start newspapers. They got, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just, I don't see it. I think the only obstacles are myself, me internally going, what the hell am I thinking going to journalism school? What the hell am I thinking going to art school? What the hell am I doing? Sometimes you have self-doubt, and you have to not listen to that. And just, why not? Why not? You know, look at the universe. We might be interdimensional. We might be on different levels. In another universe, I'm still making a paper, or maybe I don't know, driving a tow truck. I don't know. But here and now, this is what I'm gonna do because I don't know. You know, think of it that way. Like, just take a chance. You know, that's my advice. Just if it feels a little scary, it might be something you're gonna try. You know.
Totally, I agree. Yes, like, we just have this one life, apparently, so why not do what we can with it? I agree with you there, Colleen. That's really interesting. Thank
And as you get older, it's less scary.
Totally, yes. I'm trying to help the younger people,
Yes.
like I have a 15-year-old daughter, to show her that there's all these different ways you can live your life, you know? So I appreciate that. Who or what are your major influences and inspirations within or outside of art that drive your creative process? I would love to know that. I never thought of asking you this before.
Well, you know, you mentioned that we were joking. You were saying something about, yeah, she lives in St. James. But no, like the community I come from, the North End, really inspires me. Like, sometimes I'm just sitting there looking at the window and I see someone walking by and I'm like, you know, God, I wish I could paint a picture of that. You know? So beautiful. Why can't people see what I see? Maybe I should paint a picture of it. You know? That inspires me. Definitely my community inspires me. Like I said, my grandparents inspire me because they raised me to be who I am. Art, you know, Norval Morrisseau, Georgia O'Keeffe, so many artists. Any art inspires me, but mostly the world inspires me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we love people.
People inspire me. Just the beauty and tragedy of life.
You know who popped into my head was Kent Muckman, because he has a lot of different art with the North End as a backdrop. And I don't think he's from the North End. He's from Ontario, right?
He did live in the North.
Oh, he lives
He's
in
actually from Fisher River.
Oh,
First Nations, right
okay.
next door to our
Right next door. That's awesome. Yeah, like I love seeing the North End in art. Like, and I love Kent Muckman's stuff. It's so interesting. And I worked in the North End forever too, so that's kind of how I got into even understanding the culture of the North End. It's so beautiful. Yeah, tons of murals. Who's the mural on the side of IFC? Is that someone you mentioned?
Jackson Beard.
Yes, yes. Very beautiful. Alrighty, so can you share about any current projects you're working on and any future directions you envision for your art in Indigifuturism?
I'll always love video, and I forgot to mention that. Like video pool is definitely where I got started. I was just a young single mom, no money, minimum wage, several decades ago, and I came to video pool, and they gave me a free membership, and they let me rent their cameras and edit, and that was just really, video pool is where I got started. Where the light turned on and I went, hey, I could make a film. I could be a filmmaker. I could be an artist. Like it just really started here.
Very supportive. Video pool is very
Yes,
supportive.
yes.
Yeah.
So supportive. What
I'm
else?
pretty sure they give, I think Indigenous artists get either like a free membership or a cheaper membership, just so people
At
know.
the time, I think it was free or reduced. And,
Yeah, I think it still is. I do some work with National Indigenous Media Arts Coalition as well, right? And I'm pretty sure that that's a thing, yeah. So yeah, video pool is very, I mean, we're here tonight and I'm pretty sure we don't pay for this space, do we, Karen? Oh, we do. Well, never mind.
But yeah, what inspired? What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I got more where that came from. Okay, so no, you shared that the North End inspires you, the video pool inspires you, the resources that are available in Winnipeg too. Like you're resource driven, you know where resources are and to give them out to people. Lots of people come to you for that kind of stuff too. Colleen, where can I do this? Where can I do that, right? So what advice would you give to emerging artists, particularly those interested in exploring their cultural identity and future possibilities through their art? I think you've sprinkled advice through the night, but not some direct.
Yeah, well, like talking from my own personal story, like being Indigenous and having my traditional knowledge and language, all that stuff was very hard to piece together. My mom was part of the 60s Scoop, so she was very, she didn't know her family, she didn't know her culture. My dad went to day school, residential school, and growing up in my time, like we just didn't have a lot of it there. I really had to search it out, and there's no shame in that. There's really no shame in that. Not all of us are blessed to grow up knowing everything. I did have my great grandfather who was a medicine picker and had traditional knowledge, and I did have my great grandma, my grandma, and they spoke Soto, they spoke Ojibwe, but they said, you can't learn that. They wanted me to be Canadian because at that time you didn't learn your language, and that's something I'm still missing. So like as an artist, question everything. It's just like being a journalist, right? Question everything, ask questions, be curious, don't be afraid to fail, practice, try things you think you might hate, but you might like, or you might pull just a little thread of something out of that, and it'll inspire you to create your own version of it, right? Experiment, 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 make mistakes. sometimes it's just a whim. That mural over there, that was just a whim. That was just something. I think I'll do this. What do you guys think? And I thrifted that gold lame jumpsuit for $5.
She should have worn it tonight. I feel like very alone here.
After hours.
I told her I'm wearing a sparkle jumpsuit. Can you please also wear something sparkly? I walked around Dollarama and shoppers like this.
And all those toys I thrifted from like Value Village and MCC. And it was just a whim, right? It's just something. And I was like, I'm going to do this because it makes me happy. You know what I mean?
It makes me happy too.
And I'm so glad, like the feedback I get from it, I'm so glad I took that risk to take a bunch of pictures of myself in a gold lame suit in the middle of the night and create this in Photoshop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take those risks. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, totally. Last slide, please. I always forget to thank our partners and the people who make this night wonderful. This Winnipeg Arts Council and the Manitoba Arts Council. And if you want to follow First Fridays on Instagram, that's us there. I do want to open the floor up too to see if anyone has questions for Miigwaaneñs. And if you do, please let me know so I can either bring the mic over to you or you can yell. Yes. Would you like the mic or would you like to yell?
No, I can help.
Okay, great.
So if you were gonna take the Indigenous futurism further, where else would you wanna go?
I did actually after this is actually the second part of my alter ego. As you can see, I'm like a little cosplay. I'm a little bit of a cosplayer. So I actually did make a video with this character, and she comes from the future.
Is that the alien video?
Yes.
Oh,
She comes
look
from the
for it.
future into the North End, and she's looking for a secret material that will fuel her planet for generations. But she needs to find it, so she looks for it. But there is an evil alien that has followed her, her evil twin who follows her. So, yeah, I'll have to post that. It's a short video. It's a short video.
Can we put it on First Friday?
Yes, we can. We can share it on First Friday.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes long, and it's campy. It's fun. I'm in the gold lame. So yeah, I do like performance art as well. So that's another place I'm going to be kind of, playing with in my last year of school, honors year next year, and just playing with performance art and video and all kinds of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hello. Oh, I'll let you go first. Right?
The story with the image on the side, and the background in journalism. Are you doing any writing in terms of storytelling? Because I'm already interested. I'll buy the book.
I did do a little freelance work, like here and there I will, but I actually kind of like go, I don't think I want to write anymore. I like the visual storytelling aspect and the filmmaking aspect, but I do want to write a book one day about my family, because I find their story is so interesting.
And your whole life, please include it.
All our stories are unique and interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And at the back there?
I had a question about Indigifuturism, and you mentioned that it was a decade ago.
20 years.
I think about 20 years ago, it was an academic work where a woman actually defined it as Indigenous futurism. And if you think about it, it's very intuitive when you look at Indigenous culture, that we're always looking always looking towards the future for our children and the generations coming up ahead, and that's why we have this like kind of reverence for taking care of the land and family, and it just fits really well. But there are several artists. I can't name anyone off the top of my head right now. And then as well, look up Afrofuturism as well, because I think Afrofuturism has been going for 3-4 decades, and it's also incorporated into film and music. You look at people like Janelle Monáe, people like Sun Ra, and he's like the father of Afrofuturism. Like, I think it's really interesting. Like, colonized people around the world have this perspective, but we're all at different paths, so to say. So,
do you think it's changed since, like, within the last 20 years, like the vision? Like, do you think we'll get?
I think so.
Like, eventually, do you think we'll get to a point where we are like, there? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
time has passed.
I think
that
so.
period, like within our climate, is it slow? Is it fast? Or is that not the point? That's kind of the question.
I can only speak to like Canada probably, like, but I think what I see, like working with youth and working in the schools, and as well as seeing my son grow up and seeing my daughter grow up, the things that they are learning and the quality of life they have and the dreams that they have, I think that it is moving forward. I think I feel really blessed to live at this time. Really, like, even with like the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and all those things, and I thought, is it really going to change anything? But it really has. In the last 5 years, I've felt such a sense of change in Winnipeg, in Manitoba, as to how we're dealing with everything. The way I felt growing up as a kid in Winnipeg was not this nice. And I see the change. I see the future. And it's so bright. But we just, as Indigenous people, we've got to just help each other and, believe in yourself. I study a bit of Buddhism, and one of the laws is the law of, what is that word? Nothing is forever, right? Nothing lasts. Pardon me? The law of impermanence. That is the hardest one for me. The law of impermanence. So you have to just kind of keep pushing. And it's hard. And sometimes you feel like, what the heck am I doing? When I was writing the Free Press, I never knew someone like Jasmine was out there reading what I wrote. I had no clue. You never know these things. You never know who you're affecting. And that's why I live in the North End too. I never know who's walking by and going, hey, look that girl. Like, she's doing pretty good. I could have a car like her. I could have a house like her. These simple things, you don't think you're affecting people, but you are. And like I feel safe in the North End, and I smile at everyone, and it's so important.
You affect a lot of people, Colleen. That's why I took creative communications. I didn't even know that existed till you wrote about it one time. And I was like, what's this? What's that? And like, I loved it. That changed the trajectory of my life and what I do for work and how I enjoy my life. So thank you for that. We are a couple minutes past due, and I know that we have an art walk at 7:15. So I just want to give the chance for. Oh, we can have one more question. I was going to say, we can have one more question.
Go ahead.
No, like this is very like broad, but from your art and how you were speaking, it seemed like everything you do comes from a very like exciting way of viewing life or a happy way of viewing life. And is there another like, how do you channel any, not negative emotions, because no emotion, like any emotion can be put negatively, but how do you channel emotions like anger and sadness, especially when it comes backgrounds to do with your culture or representations of yourself?
I actually made like a short little mini documentary about my dad and how he went to residential school and how a couple years ago, I've been weightlifting for a year and a half. They had this claim, the federal government of Canada had this claim, and they said, you can get money for your residential school fee. And my family told me, well, I'm the one who fills out the forms for my family. We need to fill out these forms for my dad's residential school claim. Sorry. So you find out a lot of horrible things. And the government makes you write it all down. For money. And it's hurt me a lot. So you know what I did? I went to my gym and I said, I need to start lifting weights. I need to lift heavy stuff. And then, so that's what I've been doing for a year and a half. And then I made it into a short film. Because I'm not perfect. I cry a lot. I've had many hard times. But I still try to think about my nieces and nephews and my kids, and think about what can I learn from this? How can I, I'm a sun dancer as well, I'm a traditional person, but part of your role is to give yourself to creator and to try to be a good person. And a lot of cultures are like that. So in your answer to your question, I try to just turn it into something positive that I can help others. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Transforming the pain.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't be
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, don't be sorry. No, it's important for people to feel that. And I actually, like I said, I've known Colleen for 15 plus years. Like, she normally doesn't get emotional like this. So for her to do this, like, she's really opening and sharing here, and that's part of art too.
I'm really glad you asked me that
Yes,
question.
thank you. Thank you for that. That was a great question. Yeah, and those forms, I helped write some stories for those forms too. And for those of you who don't know, you have to determine the level of abuse, and it's, it's pretty disgusting to.
In the end, we ended up deciding we weren't going to do it.
And there's lots of families that are deciding that. And that's gross too. Like, not the families, but that the government put them in those positions to have to make those decisions. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Colleen. Thank you for just giving us so much of yourself tonight. And I hope that lots of people got something out of this, because I sure as heck did up here.
Thank you, Miigwaaneñs, for coming. I'm like so impressed. I didn't think there'd be this many people. It's not that great outside. It's Friday night.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Please
Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, follow her on Instagram. Oh, this is First Fridays, but we'll put hers on Instagram. Eat up the futuristic snacks and drinks. I do not want to bring them home with me. We're still in 2024.